Hold on. I got that. We're going. Let me hit this one so we don't lose anything because we got backups. I'm kind of thinking we should start releasing the videos on our Patreon for Wendy and Aaron, and if anybody else wants them. So, cold open, a little bit of a selling pitch. Text us. Not text us because nobody has our numbers, but get in our DMs and be like, hey, I'd love to see these videos of you and see what you two...
Slide into those DMs.
Because I'm kind of...
I mean, let's be honest. Like, is the video really like all that more interesting?
Not really. It's probably just.
I feel like we should put up like crazy backgrounds.
Well, yeah.
Like I'm in a hurricane.
Oh, the way we sell it for the people that aren't going to get in there, we'd be like, oh my god, my wife just walked by naked again.
Oh, if I had a nickel.
Richard, your wife just walked by without her clothes on again. Like, I won't pay for that.
Oh, she brought a friend.
Oh, they're always making out in the background. They like each other. Look at them kissing back there.
Don't forget to subscribe to our OnlyFans.
But the problem is Aaron and Wendy would both be like, I didn't see any nudes. Cancel.
Yep. Unsubscribe.
But no, so you wanted to start because you apparently have started.
Okay, yeah,
House of
you
Dragons.
know what? I did. The last time that we spoke, you were telling me, you were like, Richard. Or I said Shawn.
Let's Richard.
Start there. I said, Shawn,
I
have not watched any House of the Dragon. Haven't watched any of it. And then I went to this whole diatribe about how it didn't really have anything to do. I mean, it had a little bit to do with, season 8 of Game of Thrones. And there was that. And so it was a little bit that, but I think it was just more like I wanted it to be like good.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did. I sat down with my wife and we watched, I think the first 4.
Okay.
5 episodes. How many do they have out now?
I think there's 5 at this point. I think episode 6.
Okay, so I watched the first 4. Watched the first 4. And you know what? I'm not sold on it.
Oh man. What's killing it for you?
Again, okay, so I thought maybe it was just like my wife was actually more into it than I was. And I was talking to her about it, and she was like, "You're coming down like really harsh on this show." And I'm like, honestly, okay.
You're like too many dragons.
No. Honestly, it's not that. Here's my problem with the show. My problem with the show is that I do not care about any of these people. I don't care about any of them. None of them. So when I watch television or a movie or something, I feel like there should be a character that's like a window in for the audience. You know what I mean? There should be a character that's relatable, and so that everybody kind of like identifies with a given character or their struggle, and that's kind of their window into the show, right? Because they're rooting for their guy. Like, I want my guy to succeed. I hope he overcomes whatever struggles that they're going through, and they are able to triumph in the face of whatever adversity is in their way. Doesn't always have to be a good guy. Doesn't have to be a bad guy. They just have to be a character that you personally identify with and find relatable, because then that way you can kind of not empathize with a given character, but kind of relate to them and relate to their interactions with everybody else. And that's a person's doorway into a show. Okay. I do not find anything relatable with any of these people. None of these characters are speaking to me. None of these characters are speaking for me. None of them. I find all of them to be very like backstabby, which I mean, Game of Thrones had plenty. They were lousy with backstabby characters, but there were also relatable characters that you could root for and like. Jon Snow, Arya Stark, Tyrion Lannister to a certain point. I mean, even Jaime towards the end, became, you kind of understood his struggle a bit.
Yeah. I mean, it takes time too. Like, this is all new characters, and I'm not sure when you jumped on Game of Thrones, but if you had like me, like 2 or 3 seasons to catch up on, like you get a lot of that quicker. So like with this, like you're 4 episodes in, so it's kind of like starting like a new game. Like it takes you so much time to figure out the mechanics and figure out who's who, and people are kind of falling into their place. And like you said,
but you already understand the mechanics a little bit because you have a whole other show to fall back on.
A little.
And I'm not saying that one has to be, like the other, but when you're, saying this is fucking Game of Thrones, this is Westeros, look at all these people, these are Targaryens, like they're selling you on this is like Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I know, like, when you're saying relatable, like, I can relate a little bit to the King Targaryen because he's reigning over a peaceful time, and there's a spot where he asked, like, will they remember me? And, like, I kind of think about that because it's like, because he hasn't won any battles. He hasn't done anything of significance. He's been a king and it's been peaceful. And the maester's like, oh, well, it's been prosperous. It's been safe. It's been good. Like, people will, think of you as a good king. He's like, yeah, but they don't write songs about that. They write songs about battles.
And then he married his daughter's best friend.
Yeah, he did. He did do that, which was better than marrying his 12-year-old niece, which is what the other option was.
Which is better than marrying his 12-year-old niece. I didn't realize that we had to set the bar that low in order to be like, oh, well, at least
they're not related. Yeah, I've seen some funny memes because, like, when you watch, and maybe there's a little desensitization to that because, like, in Game of Thrones, like the first episode at the very end, like Jaime and Cersei are banging in the tower, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought they were brother and sister. I must have misunderstood. And you're like, nope, they're related.
Yep. Yeah. And then in this show, you have dude sleeping with I guess making out with his and almost sleeping with his 14-year-old niece.
Yeah, I think she might be 16 at that time or 18. They kind of blur the lines on that because, like, back in when this would have, like, what they're referencing this to, like 16, 17 was kind of like, okay, I think. I don't know. But they kind of make it more of like, oh, no, they're 18. Like, I know the books may say something different, but they're 18.
I mean, I know they're uncle and niece, but,
But yeah, that's what people would say. It's like Cersei and Jaime, everybody's like, no. And then, like, Damien and her, they're like, yeah, like, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I say boo. I say boo to all of it.
Yeah. I remember, I think I talked about this before we talked about Game of Thrones, but this was way before any of that stuff was out. But I was in college. And the professor was talking about something about, like, asking how marriage worked back in, like, the British times or something like that, like, between, like, kingdoms. And I was like, oh, yeah, they married cousins and stuff. He's like, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
And then I had to question myself.
Yeah, the queen who just died was married to her first cousin.
Yeah, but then I felt like a huge pervert because I said that out loud, and he made me feel like an idiot. And then years later, it's like, no, you're right. You're not a pervert. That's exactly what happened. That's why they have webbed toes.
That's the real.
Was the queen really married to her first cousin, the guy who she was married to?
Yeah, King Philip was her cousin.
Was that wasn't her newer husband, right? Because
I don't think Philip, who she married in, like, back in the fucking, I don't know, the 50s.
Who was she married to that just recently died? Was that Philip? Because I didn't think he was king. Yeah, Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
She was married to somebody that died like a couple years back, but he wasn't king. Because he didn't get that title.
Queen's consort.
Let me see. She was actually really cute back in the day too.
Oh, Elizabeth? Yeah. I mean, she did marry her first cousin.
Oh, Prince Philip. So yeah, he was never king.
No, you're talking about Diana's kids.
No, Prince Philip was never king.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Because it was because she was queen before they got married, or
Shawn?
something weird.
We beat them, so I don't have to care.
That's a good point. I didn't care, except
they blew a 13-0 Colony lead.
They did,
and we opened up a big can of whoop ass on them at Yorktown.
Yep. They're like, we're going to charge you taxes for your tea. And we're like, no, taxes without representation. Then we dumped it in the water.
And we're not going to marry our cousins either.
Yeah, that's where the lines were drawn. Except in the South, they're like, well, I mean, we're okay with it. What about sisters?
Royal bloodline.
Richard,
no,
that's
when
rude.
you do it, it's weird. Well, I mean, when they do it, it's weird. But when you do it, it's extra weird.
That's a stereotype that is not true.
So,
although Elvis was in a movie called Kissing Cousins.
So you have Matt Smith, who, basically just comes off like, oh, I want to be king, and everybody thinks I'm,
oh, and my penis doesn't work. That's the other thing. I don't think his dick works.
And I tried sleeping with my 14-year-old niece. And I want to be king, but the other guy's king, and it makes me so mad. Okay. And then you have the king, who, again, married his daughter's best friend. You have the daughter, who's like, just comes off just like a entitled, whiny bitch.
Wow.
What I'm saying, oh my God. She rides around on her horse, and she's like, I'm a princess, and everybody treats me blah, blah. I just want to live my life. I'm like, shut up.
She's an emo 16-year-old. Man, I didn't know this was going to trigger you so much on House of Dragons.
Shawn, what I'm saying is that if a dragon, if I start the next episode and a dragon flies by and sets all of these people on fire, and then they roll the credits, I'd be like, okay, and then go on with my life.
I'm a complete 180.
None of these people, I don't care about any of these people. I don't care about their struggles. I don't care about their feelings. I don't care about what they're doing. I just don't, fuck all of them. I'm just, no. Fuck all of them. The whole lot.
Wow. Coming out hot we started out, I was like, oh, you watch it? You're like, yes, record.
You sound
this
like
is bullshit.
She's like, why are you so harsh on this show?
Yeah, you're pretty angry on it. Like, there's the one night, like I can kind of see.
I'm not angry. I just feel like I have to drive
You feel angry about this.
Home. I'm not angry.
I feel like next we're going to talk about Yellow Jackets next. And you're like, and another thing, girls can't play soccer. Like, whoa, Richard, tone it down.
And in Europe, they call it football, but they marry their cousins. So what do I mean?
They have nasty teeth, marry their cousins. They have 13-day ceremonies when their queen dies. Pfft, still going on.
Yeah.
And don't make fun of it because they get pissed. They take that serious. I didn't realize that.
They do take it serious.
And did you know, so their anthem is Long Live the Queen, but now it's Long Live the King? I didn't know that.
No, it's God Save the King.
Yeah, God Save the King. I mean, because it's been God Save the Queen for my whole life, so I just assumed that's what it was. It's like, nope, Queen's dead. Fuck her.
Mine too, Shawn. Shawn, Queen Elizabeth died. She was 285 years old.
She was. I'm pretty sure she was a vampire. You know what they said she died of? Old age. So it was old age. They didn't want to say stake to the heart because they're like, we don't want people to know she was a vampire.
Wherever that is.
Yeah. So I don't want to say it, but I think this might be our longest cold open. So what are we doing for the actual episode?
Oh, I'm going to tell you scary stories about queens.
Scary stories.
Royal incest. Here we go.
Oh.
What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we're speaking the language of bromance. Today, Shawn, I have treats for you. So
Ooh, no tricks, only treats.
Yeah. So we decided. So you told me that you wanted to do another choose your own adventure story.
And I wanted it to be spooky.
And I scoured and I found a specific horror category of spooky stories.
I mean, to be fair, all the ones we've done have been pretty scary. Like ones like you make love to a dead body.
I feel like that one was more Twilight Zone than Tales from the Crypt. But
agreed.
Okay, so I've got a couple here. So we obviously, like, you're going to go through this story and things are going to happen and we can always go back and restart and whatever. But I do have two for you to choose from in case you get bored with one and you want to move on to the other one.
I like it.
Okay.
Same thing. Going to give me the three titles, or do you have them picked out?
I'm just going to give you the titles, and there's a little, there's a little intro, and then we'll start. Okay.
All right.
So the first story is called 331 Oakmont Drive.
Ooh, okay. Like it. Spooky house.
So it starts off with.
Oh, don't give me any starts out. Just give me titles. I like going off titles.
No, I know. I was giving you the intro, the introduction to the story.
Oh, so we're just going to do this one first.
Yeah, we're doing 331 Oakmont Drive. The other one, like I said, we can move on. We can always move on to later.
All right, I like it.
Okay. So the intro is you smile at your friend Sophie as she struggles to walk up the cobblestone path with a large bucket and unwieldy mop. She stops and turns back to you, drops the bucket, and puts her hand on her hips. This is going to be some job, she frowns, gesturing to the house. Your eyes sweep over the mansion. At least 20 dark-paned windows stare back at you. At least windows are Sophie's job, you think. Then, sighing, you say to Sophie, yeah, I wonder how many square feet of floor I'm going to have to vacuum. Then you continue to trudge, dragging your favorite vacuum behind you and readjusting the knapsack of cleaning supplies on your shoulder.
Oh, wow. I have a favorite vacuum? That's weird.
You and Sophie are college students who clean houses for extra money. You got into it after a friend offered you guys $20 to clean his apartment, and after seeing how spotless the two of you kept yours. It's been quite lucrative, earning enough money for rent and pocket change, and you pretty much get to pick your hours. Customers are plentiful since you placed a free ad in the college paper. People seem to be calling the house all the time. Housewives that need a helping hand, new graduates needing their place cleaned before they moved out, even some pretty crazy after-party cleanups. You name it, you and Sophie have cleaned it. This has got to be the biggest house we've ever been called to, Sophie muses. Did the guy on the phone say anything about your pay? No, but I'm going to let him know we're not doing it for under $300. Yeah, I sure hope he doesn't think we do yard work, too. It's a big house, Shawn. It's a mansion.
20-bedroom mansion, and I'm just charging $300?
No, there was 20 windows on the front of the mansion.
Yeah, but even if that's 2 windows to a room, that's like 10 rooms. That's a lot of work. That feels like $1,000 to me.
She fishes out a Swiffer cloth and removes layers of cobwebs from the knocker before knocking. The knocker resonates through the porch. Make that $600, she laughs. I have a bad feeling about this. Did we bring enough Swiffers? Just then the door slowly opens. A small face peeks out from the cool darkness. What do you want? The pale-faced girl says accusingly. We're the cleaners that we're called for. Is this 331 Oakmont Drive? Yes. Oh, please come in. I'm quite sorry. You and Sophie step into the dimly lit foyer. It doesn't seem to be incredibly filthy, just a lot of dusting needed. In front of you, a carpeted staircase dwindles up into darkness. To your left, through a small lounge, an elegant dining room is visible. To your right, is a room filled with lovely but ancient-looking divians. Beautiful Botticelli paintings can be seen displayed down the hallway to the left of the staircase, and the antique furniture in the foyer is just exquisite. Whoever lives here has great taste. Our own cleaning products, you catch Sophie in mid-conversation. Our own cleaning products, it's just a matter of personal taste. Now, do you have a list of tasks that need to be done? We'd like to go over this, get a tour of the house, and negotiate the fee. You notice the girl, obviously a maid by her plain uniform, doesn't really look into Sophie's face. She must really have a mean boss or just have social issues. Well, the girl murmurs, I don't have a list, but I will go get it for you. Please have a seat in the sitting room, and I'll be right back. She ushers you into the room to your right. You and Sophie set down your supplies and sit. The maid flutters out of the room through the opposite direction that you came into. Brr, Sophie shivers and then looks at you. God, could this house be any colder? Well, at least you won't be dying when we get working. You were cut off by an ungodly loud moan coming from the stairs.
Uh-oh.
What was that? Sophie whispers. You slowly turn around in your chair and gaze into the foyer and up the stairs and see nothing. It's just too dark to see from here. Sophie grabs your arm. Okay, this is getting a little weird. Maybe we should just split. What do you say? So, are you going to say, you're right, Sophie, let's leave? Or do you say, no, we need this money, we're staying?
Oh, we need this money. We got to stay.
All right. She smiles back, though a little uneasy. Well, if you say so, just where is that girl? We've been waiting forever. Just then the door the girl left from slowly opens. You turn sharply, and in the doorway is a man. He's very handsome, tall with slick black hair, and he smiles at the two of you. Hi, Sophie stammers. We're the cleaners that were called. The girl who let us in has been gone for a while. I'm so sorry. I'm Mr. Alexander, the owner of the house. The man's voice is deep and rich. Come with me. He motions for you to follow him through the doorway he is standing by. The two of you follow him into a living room and through there into a study. Are you going to follow him or are you going to say, I'm sorry, but we'd rather just leave?
We'll follow him. I mean, he doesn't seem like he's too bad. He's got slick back hair. I always say if they got slick back hair, you can trust them because they really care.
Sophie shrugs, and the two of you follow Mr. Alexander into the study. Please sit, he says, indicating two leather chairs. The two of you sit, and he says, please just wait a moment, and leaves the room, closing the door behind him. Wow, hunk city, Sophie exclaims. Andy's rich. This is turning out to be pretty interesting. Nobody's talking about marrying him. I just want to. Sophie stops mid-sentence as you hear a click. And then you hear a scream.
Uh-oh.
Jumping up, you grab the doorknob of the door the man just exited. You rattle it, but no use. It's locked. Your eyes spin around the room. There's another door. You head towards it, but Sophie says, but we don't know where it leads. Cute guy or not, I'm ready to get out of here. Maybe there's a key for the locked door somewhere in the room. Do you want to try the second door or search for a key?
Let's search for a key.
Search for a key. Well, let's try the desk. You go around to the back of the large pine desk and start opening drawers and rummaging through. Sophie does likewise on the left side of the desk. Suddenly, she grabs your arm. Hey, look at this, she exclaims, shoving a picture in your face. It's a picture of Mr. Alexander, the man you just met, and a red-haired woman. They are smiling lovingly at each other. I'm very sorry for you, Sophie, that he's married, you say, but we've got bigger problems. You point at some paneling to the left of the desk. There's a dark red stain pooling up at the bottom edge. Sophie's hand flies to her mouth. Oh my God, I don't even want to know. You hear the locked door click again, and both your heads snap towards it. The door opens quickly, and standing in the doorway is Mr. Alexander. He looks incredibly angry. The two of you scream and run for the other door. You tumble through the door into a windowed breakfast room. You and Sophie hurriedly stumble through the iron wrought chairs, and your eyes dart around for which way to go. You can see a garden from here, but there are no doors leading outside. There's also a door to your left and a door to the far right, but it looks like Mr. Alexander might make it there first. What will you do? Grab a chair and break the window? Risk it and go to the right door, or go to the left door?
Let's break the window.
Breaking the window. You seize the nearest iron chair with all your might, hurl it through the window. Glass flies everywhere, and you cover your face and leap through the window. You graze your arms and legs badly, and blood is streaming everywhere. You and Sophie run through the garden, and Mr. Alexander is not far behind. But all you need to do is get out in the open and scream for help. You rush past overgrown hedges, dead tomato plants, and withered roses. You're almost to the edge. Unfortunately, what looked like an overgrown border is actually a heavy iron fence covered in ivy. You slam into it with full force, scramble to climb over it, but it's too late. Mr. Alexander's right there. He grabs your wrist, spins you around, and Sophie huddles in terror next to you. Girls, while the running, you can never escape me. You two have a little appointment with my wife, and she's hungry
sexy.
again.
Uh-oh.
And he smiles cruelly into your face, and you know this is the end. Shawn, you died.
Oh, that didn't make it very far.
No.
So did he eat me? Or you just took me back and I got eaten?
It sounds like he was feeding you to his wife.
I wonder, so did she I like to think of as they're cannibals.
You want to go through it again?
Yeah, let's go back. And then I'll take the left door, because left is death. Let's take the right door.
Okay. Let's see. You go in the left door.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, right door, because left is death.
Risk it and go to the right door. You decide to risk it and run for the door on your right. You duck to the right, hurtling over a beige wicker chair, but not quite clearing it. Your foot catches in the armrest, and you fall to the ground with a crash. And your chest hits the floor with a painful thud. You struggle to get to your feet, turning your head just in time to see Sophie fleeing out the left door and to feel the cold sting of a hypodermic needle.
Oh, no.
You come back to consciousness what seems like centuries later in a damp, foul-smelling room. Really foul-smelling. It's like the worst thing you've ever smelled. You move your body slowly because you have a massive headache from whatever knocked you out.
My head.
Groggy and nauseated, you pull yourself up to figure out where you are. It seems to be what used to be a bathroom. It's pretty large for a bathroom. There are two doors, one on each side. You stumble painfully first to one, then the other, but they're both locked. You stagger across the stained white tile floor as if in a trance to the bathtub. The curtain is pulled around it, and you can't resist. And you pull it back. You lurch back violently, your stomach flipping. There, what used to be a young woman who has obviously been gutted and dead for quite some time. You yank back the curtain and tumble back to the other side of the bathroom. As you sink to the floor, your shirt rises up. Looking down, you see purple markings on your stomach. Horrified, you realize they're the same kind of markings your sister had on her when she had to have her appendix removed, but you're not in the hospital. Is this what happened to the girl in the bathtub? You have to get out of here now. Your brain screams. You go for the door on the right and thrash against it with all your might. You can hear the door breaking on its hinges, but at the same time, you hear a noise at the other door.
Oh, no. What's at the other door?
So here's your decision. Hit as hard as you can, and the door you're at. Hit it as hard as you can and get the hell out of the room. Find a weapon or find a weapon and face whoever is at the other door.
I'm going to find a weapon.
Your eyes sweep the room for a weapon. The best thing you can find is a plunger behind the toilet. You arm yourself with a plunger and prepare to face Sophie.
Oh, I got her.
The two of you hug each other. I was so worried about you, she exclaims. We got to get out of here. There's another body in here, and I think they plan to do the same to us. Sophie grabs your wrist and starts pulling you out of the room and into a bedroom. As the two of you move, she says, Yeah, I know I've been looking all over this house for you, and I overheard Mr. Alexander talking. Apparently, they do some sort of weird rituals to get Mrs. Alexander to have a healthy baby. It has to do with eating the organs of young women.
Oh, no.
You shiver as the two of you rush down the hallway. Just then, you hear someone on the stairs. You and Sophie rush past the stairs and into a room. This is some sort of large bonus room. There are stairs going down into a play area of sorts. There are bunk beds, toys, and other things. It appears to be set up for many children, but you don't see any. You and Sophie rush down the mini staircase and look for a place to hide. You scurry behind a bookshelf, and Sophie squeezes in next to you. You hear footsteps, followed by voices. They get louder and come into earshot. I don't really care, Vera. You find those girls and get them to me. You wince as you hear Mr. Alexander referring to you and Sophie. The reply is too soft for you to hear, but you hear a scuffling noise and Mr. Alexander hisses. Or we could just use you. You hear Vera whimper back something unintelligible. The two of them move away down the hall. After it has been silent for a few moments, you start to creep out from behind the bookshelf. But as you're feeling your way out, your elbow bumps into a small indentation on the wall. Much to your surprise, the wall opens up into a dark, foul-smelling room.
Oh, no.
Just then you hear a small voice coming out of the darkness. Hello, it calls.
Oh, God. It's the baby. It's the baby.
A small figure lurches out slowly from the shadows. You start, but stay where you are. The figure stops just on the edge of the light so you cannot see it fully. Have you come to help, the voice asks? You realize now that it is a child and you're filled with pity. Yes, we've come to help you, you answer. Are you hurt? Yes, I've been hurt a long time. And with that, the child steps into the light. It's horribly deformed, with large cysts on its face and chest. It does not have much hair, and its mouth is malformed, twisted into a painful little bow.
Uh-oh.
Baby! Disgusted, you run, stumbling over to Sophie to the door. You run as fast as your legs will take you. Just as you reach the end, a woman steps out from the doorway. You scream and stop. She has red hair and is wearing a black bathrobe, and she doesn't look friendly. You guess from this 10-inch butcher knife she is wielding.
Oh, no.
Her eyes widen in a maniacal way, and she advances. You turn your heels and run the opposite direction, but standing right behind you is Mr. Alexander, not looking too friendly himself. He grabs you roughly, pinning your arms behind your back. How long are you going to run around this house? You feel a sharp sting and then a prolonged burn. Did you ever really think you could get away? It's our house after all. But this time you never wake up. No chance to escape this time. Guess you died on the operating table.
Oh, I died again. Sometimes I feel like these don't give you a chance to actually leave.
Yeah, this one, it seems like there isn't a lot of decisions. Let's see what happens if you went out the other door.
The right door?
When you're in the bathroom, you're in the bathroom with the body, and Sophie was about ready to burst through the other door. What happens if you just try and smash through the opposite door?
Let's do that.
No time to fool around. You're getting out of here now. You give the door one last charge, and it gives way. You rush through the door and into a bedroom. There's only one door, and you run for it. It's unlocked, but you hurtle out into a hallway. Right or left?
Well, like I said, left is death, so let's go right.
Run for the right. You run to the right. Unfortunately, right as you turn, the door across the hall opens, and you run smack into an insane-looking red-haired woman in a black bathrobe. She grabs you by the hair and stabs you in the back.
Oh, maybe right is death. What if I take a left?
You see many doorways down the hallway, but you're not stopping. The room seems to... You see a slightly ajar doorway on your left. You duck in and try to hide. The room seems to be a small bedroom. However, it is filled with all sorts of strange books. There are also symbols drawn on the wall. You hurry and squeeze yourself behind a dilapidated old bed. Your heart is racing. You wait for what seems like forever, but no one comes. Right by your foot is a large, arcane-looking text. Curious, you reach out and flip it open. It falls naturally to a page about ancient fertility ceremonies. You read on. It seems in medieval times, queens who could not bear children would make sacrifices of local young women to the fertility gods. It also goes on to say that eating the reproductive organs of these sacrifices would further enhance fertility.
Grody.
Well, you're not going to be the next sacrifice. You stand yourself up, you look around the room and see some sort of metal cane leaning up against the door. You grasp it firmly and head out the door. You're ready to fight back against anyone who thinks they're going to cut you up. You head out into the hallway. There's no one there. Walking back the way you came, you notice that the staircase leading down is right nearby. You still don't know where Sophie is. They might be holding her captive. You could just go down the stairs and bash your way out of the house, but is Sophie going to be okay? Are you going to look for Sophie or head down the stairs and send help later?
I'm going to look for Sophie.
You're not leaving without your best friend. You carefully push open the door. You're now in a bathroom, which used to be a really deluxe place, but looks kind of ratty now. You realize the glow is coming from the next room. Walking as quietly as you can, you creep through the bathroom. This must be the master bedroom. It's covered from head to toe in black and wine-colored velvet. You hear a hiss and turn your head sharply to the right. It's the woman from the photograph, but she looks pretty crazy now.
Oh, no.
She's also got Sophie by the hair with a butcher knife at her throat. Sophie's eyes are pleading with you. Are you going to try to reason with the woman or distract her into moving the knife away from Sophie and go for the attack?
Oh, I'm going for the attack. There's no negotiating with a crazy person.
Hey, lady, I was reading your books, and apparently you're doing this ritual thing all wrong, you blurt out at her. Apparently that works. Mrs. Alexander cocks her head at you angrily, but at the same time her wrist falls and the knife moves away from Sophie's throat. You charge forward with the cane and smash her full force across the face.
Take that. Whack.
Sophie pulls free as the woman falls in a heap on the floor. You quickly hug Sophie and say, "Let's get out of here." The two of you dash through the bathroom and down the stairs. As you hurtle down the stairs, you see the maid standing at the bottom, looking up with a frightened look on her face. "Let us out of here now," you scream at her. She nods, shaking violently all the while, and fishes in her pocket for the key. She hands it to you, and you unlock the door, and the three of you run to freedom.
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
and Mrs. Alexander were arrested and charged with 30 counts of murder.
Oh, damn.
They've been killing and harvesting young women for almost a decade. Mrs. Alexander had severely deformed children, which were found living in the house, being treated no better than animals. Apparently, they were doing the rituals in an attempt to have the perfect child. A DNA test requested by the court showed the reason. Mr. and Mrs. Alexander were half brother and sister. They were also royalty.
We like having sex with family members.
Vera the maid is currently doing the round of talk shows. She'll be on Montel this week. The title of the show is My Life in Hell House. You and Sophie bought a very nice place in another town with the money you got from doing interviews, and you'll never have to clean another house again. Oof. The end.
Oh, we only now have years and years of trauma and post-traumatic stress syndrome, but we get to retire early. Yay!
Yay! You did it, Shawn. You won.
Yeah, only took me 3 tries, just like in regular games. Well, we have plenty of time. You want to do one more? See where we get on that one?
Yeah. So this next one is called In the Pale Moonlight is the name of this one.
Ooh, I like that. I feel like if I had to spoil this for myself, I feel like werewolves, maybe zombies,
maybe. Let's see.
Maybe some old Italian song. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's Monet.
It's a dark night. This is in the pale moonlight. It's a dark night, and even the moon itself dim in the sky. Its light incapable of piercing the veil of darkness that hangs over you. Your heavy boots trudge along stones as you stroll up the path to the old log cabin ahead of you. A pump-action shotgun sits in your hand.
Oh, yeah.
A solid determination clear in each of your steps.
I'm going to get that cheating lady. And the
you
pool boy.
The cabin, eyes watching for any movements. The cabin looks run down, and you guess it'd be abandoned if you didn't know any better.
But it's my favorite cabin. Why did I let it get run down?
At the front of the lodge, quickly checking your safety and checking you have everything for the third time. You loosen your shoulders, take a deep breath, raise your hand, and wrap your knuckles against the door. A few moments later, you hear a raspy voice call out through the door as an eye peers through the eye hole at you. Minsky Kuzkin, you ask? Hello, a thick Russian voice answers. You step back, raising your shotgun and blasting it through the door.
Oh, damn.
You hear a horrified scream and have to actively suppress any trace of empathy that peeks through. You pump your shotgun, the shell flying to the ground as you blow away the door hinges before booting the door.
Boom! Kick it in. Tink, 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 tink.
You step through the doorway, finding a pathetic-looking figure in tattered, filthy rags, blood soaking through them and pooling on the floor around him. The air is so heavy with rot and pestilence that you have to gag. The man seems to be in his mid to late 40s, although you know he's barely in his 30s. His ogre-like frame, no doubt intimidating normally, is now huddled up as he desperately tries to stem the bleeding. You stroll forward, pressing your boot against the man's neck, and you aim the shotgun at his chest.
Oh, shit.
If you have any weapons on you, it'll be a lot easier if you tell me now. You pump the shotgun, a shell flying to the ground. The noise quiets Minsky's complaints to a pained whimpering. I don't, he answers. Good, you answer, grabbing a pair of silver handcuffs from your belt. You grab Minsky's arm, forcing them behind his back as you cuff him. He screams again as you roll him onto his stomach. A quick knee to the head quiets him again. You stand, taking a deep breath, your resolve in your duty strengthening. Who are you, Minsky asks. I hunt monsters, Mr. Kuzkin. Vampires, banshees, werewolves, wraiths, changelings, demons.
Yeah.
Minsky lets out a cold, cruel laugh. You finally found me after all these years. You've sensed my presence. You're after the demon that burns inside my soul. I've been waiting for someone like you. You don't even bother to look at the man, instead taking a step into the lounge kitchen. Your fears confirmed. At that moment, you're glad you're wearing a baklava. A badly burned body lies on the kitchen table, its face mutilated beyond recognition. The body's small, the victim probably not much older than 14. The smell is unbearable, filling the house. You look away, the sight burning into your retinas, even after years of doing this. The demons tear at me, scream at me to do it. It's how you make them stop. Demons are real, Mr. Kuzkin, but they're rare, and they don't plague you. I thought they might have. It's why I investigated you, but you're not one of the poor souls cursed to deal with them. You're an animal, a pathetic creature so racked with insanity and hatred that you take it out on the world. No, they talk to me. They tell me things. I didn't want to fight them. I tried to fight them, but they wouldn't let me stop. I couldn't sleep. The pathetic figure breaks into sobbing as you decide what to do. Shawn, are you going to kill Minsky Kuzkin, or are you going to spare his life?
Nope. I feel like I'm playing a little bit of Dean Winchester right here. Taking out the evil. Taking out the garbage. Got one shell left, and I'm going to use it. Carry on my wayward son.
You tilt your head, staring down the sights of your shotgun. With that, you pull the trigger. The shotgun bucks, and Minsky's head is shattering as gray brain matter bits and bits of skull fly across the room. You don't even flinch, simply wiping off what bits of skull land on you. And so ends the tale of Minsky the Muscovite. You remark.
Gotcha, Minsky. You Muglovite.
You turn, walking to the nearest bedroom, searching for the cleanest sheets you can find. Taking a pair of brown sheets from the bed, you walk back into the kitchen where the flies are having a feast. Your eyes water, and you can't even tell if it's from the smell or the sight. Carefully laying the sheet across the body, you step back, slowly bowing your head as a matter of respect. It's okay, boy. The horrors are over. Your job finished, you head out to your truck outside. You walk out to an old, gray, beaten-up pickup. You'd happily burn away any memory of Minsk and the Muscovite, but the boy leaves a pressing question. Perhaps he deserves a right to have his tale told, to be returned home for a proper burial, and of course his parents deserve a right to know. But then again, perhaps it's better if they don't know. So are you going to inform the police of the grisly scene, or are you going to burn the entire cabin to the ground?
I'm going to burn the entire cabin to the ground, because usually with the supernatural stuff, you don't want to get the authorities involved, because obviously there's probably somebody in there that's a vampire or a witch or one of the other bad things. So we're going to burn this place down.
The fire of the match roars forward, bursting like an explosion as it engulfs the diesel puddle it lands in. The flames quickly race through the household, roaring at you as they consume every trace of the house ahead of you. Your job now finally and fully done. You turn, head back to your pickup, and quickly do a U-turn, heading down the path back towards the city. Halfway through the drive back, you put in a call to the police, telling them the address and telling them to send medical assistance, hanging up when they ask for your name. You continue driving, trying to forget the memories of tonight. It's a long and lonely drive with only the darkness for company. You follow back roads until you're long gone from the woods, at which point you can safely head back to the lodge. The current lodge is situated in an old secluded country house dating back to Victorian times. You've actually heard rumors of the manor being haunted, and when you see it illuminated by the pale moon that's broken through the dark sky, you'd almost believe it. You speed up the long drive. A flashlight beam illuminates the road ahead of you, and a voice yells at you to halt. You slow down, holding your hand out the window as the car stops beside a fresh-faced boy holding a shotgun. He smiles when he recognizes you, and he says, "Good hunting, Willie?" Sven asks in his thick Swedish accent. The superstitious man blesses himself before night. "Poor boy, well done to you anyway, Willie. You righted a wrong tonight. Boss is looking for you anyway. The hunt never ends." You pause, memories flooding into your mind. You remember sitting here as a wee boy, hearing your father tell you tales and stories. The memories take hold of your mind as you remember sitting there as clearly as you feel the heat on your face now. Are you going to remember your father's lessons on the history of the lodge, or shake off memories and focus on work?
Oh, if I'm like any other man in this world, I want to put those feelings deep down and forget about them and just work.
You quickly go to work, preparing your truck for the night's next hunt. Grab a few more shells for your shotgun, knowing by now what a necessity it is to carry all the ammo you can on the hunt. As you prepare for the next target, you watch the other grim-faced, stern hunters arrive and leave off, silently preparing for their missions. Few hunters can deal with the horrors of mutilated corpses and brutal beasts. Your next target of the night is a traditional lodge target, a young vampire.
Yeah.
The target, to your knowledge, is barely 30 years old, with only 9 of those plagued by the red thirst. That young, he should barely have a grasp on his powers and should be easy prey. In addition, the vampire has a single thrall, a human either so mad, so desperate for something, so lustful for power, that they're willing to sell out humanity and their very soul to a vampire. With your target set out, you head back to your truck, ready to kill what's already dead. The veil of darkness that hung over the early night sky has been pulled, revealing the beauty of stars. The moon shines bright, big and round like a light, surrounded by a billion shining stars that dot the heaves. It's stunningly beautiful. Best to have a bright sky watching over you when venturing into the shadows. You find a house and head towards it, keeping the shotgun tight in your hands, ready to fire at a moment's notice. The dragon's breath rounds in the chamber. You see lights. The thrall should be asleep, as should his master. It's nearly 2, and the man's frantic work last night in capturing prey for his master should have left the exhausted bastard craving sleep. Although if he's awake, it's out of schedule, perhaps something's afoot, and perhaps his master is too. If that's the case, you should lean on the safer side of things. Then again, it is the night of a hunt. Calling on backup means depriving a hunter from somewhere else that could have lasting consequences. Do you want to call for backup or head in alone?
Let me call for backup. I feel like I got some time.
You head to the car, calling the lodge. They report back they have a spare hunter to send out, one who's only acting on standby. Father Paul Favel. You know the man well and have worked with him before. He's a representative from the Vatican, a priest even, and adamant in following the laws of the Bible, as you are never leaving the lodge without a spare. But the man's a professional and experienced hunter. His permanent, cold, professional demeanor means you'd be hesitant to call him a friend, but you feel it'd be disrespectful to like anything. You get in your car, driving back a minute away from the house just for some extra space. You wait outside your car, weapons ready in case of the vampire or his thrall emerge. But after 15 minutes, you see a pair of dazzling headbeams approaching you. The sedan's driver door opens as a tall, gaunt figure with spectacles and a black jacket and pants steps out. His long, bizarrely slender fingers tap against the side as his lips turn upwards very slightly into the barest facsimile of a smile. William, Father Favel nods. The lodge informs me we're dealing with a thrall and a youth, correct? Correct, Father, you nod, but they might be up. Best not to take risks, William. We have enough risks inherent in our job, don't we? You begin walking down the street, ready to strike. You did the groundwork. Do you have any suggestions? Okay, so here are your choices. Go in together through the front, go in together through the back, or split up and take each entrance.
Let's split up and take each entrance.
Oh, splitting the party? I'll take the back. Your weapon is more of a Father Favel poses looking for the word breaching weapon, no? You walk towards the house, shotgun in your hands. Locked doors and windows, sure, but they're lacking reinforced doors, security cameras. It's a young vampire, so you're not expecting legions of thralls protecting him or runic blood magic protecting the house. But clearly the power's gone to this creature's head. Striding forward to the house's wooden door, you raise your shotgun, pointing it at the lock and firing, booting the door open with a solid kick. The thrall stands in the kitchen, a short, bearded man with crazed eyes and grime and dirt stuck in his beard and face. He shakes his head repeatedly, growling and swearing as he divides a pile of crushed and broken white crystals. No doubt a substitute between his feedings on the vampiric blood he's heavily addicted to. You watch as Father Favel walks into the room. Having broken through the back door, he raises his rifles, pointing it at the thrall's head. Hands up, he says. We'll take the night back. We'll steal the fucking sun for you. We will rule the darkness, and we will make blood bags of your loved ones. Silencio, Father Favel says calmly. The man groans in pain, gritting his teeth. I don't speak French, Shawn. There's a big whole line here in French, and I don't speak French.
I can take this one. I see that you want to take on the challenge.
The two pistols fire, the thrall's face exploding in blood and gore coats his wild hair and thick beard, his head caving in as the bullets carve their way through. Let's kill the vampire and be done with this place. You head down the staircase to the basement. However, the highlight of the room is a large ornate coffin leaning against a concrete wall. You've seen enough coffins in your life for any man, but this one is a fairly nice one. It's solid wood, cherry with brass handles, sitting up on its side so its resident can sleep standing up. Let's do it, Father Feefel says. You hurry to the coffin, readying your shotgun as he takes the other side. I take the chest, you take the head, you say, and the father nods. The two of you perform the breaching mechanism. Swinging around and standing back, you quickly measure the size of the coffin and roughly calculate where the center of the heart is. See, this guy knows where the heart is. I have no idea.
I don't either.
Your shotgun bucks, firing lead and magnesium shards directly through the heavy wood of the coffin. You fire 3 times as the wood splinters and explodes away. After a few seconds, the sound of gunfire calms as you look at the father. Let us confirm the kill, he says. Stepping forward, you grab the handle of the coffin and wrench it open. Tearing open the splintered and almost destroyed door, staring inside, you find splintered wood and a torn-apart coffin. Thankfully, the piles of ash that would indicate a clean kill. The vampire is dead, his body, ash, and your task is completed.
Yeah, I want to like it. They're ash vampires.
We should burn this place to the ground and get out of here. A bright ringing noise startles you from behind, and you almost open fire in that direction as you redraw your revolver. You find yourself staring at a simple cell phone sitting on a table, vibrating and ringing away. You pick up the phone, flipping it open and lift it to your ear. Hello? Hello, Mr. Matassin? Your blood chills for a moment as you take a deep breath, terror ringing through you. And who may I be speaking to? My name is Ganj. It's a pleasure to meet you. Is there something I can help you with? You don't seem particularly afraid. Should I be? Of course not. It's just refreshing to speak to a new person without them being so terrified. You killed one of my agents and their thrall, did you not? I did, you say, not wanting to waste time that would come from lying. He wasn't useful, quite frankly. He was a threat to our existence, but you could be of assistance to me. You have potential. I want you to work for me. Think about what I'm offering you. Riches, immortality, strength, intelligence. I can't do that, sir. I think you already knew that. Oh, I did, but I'm not looking to recruit you right now. I'm offering you a favor. You types never take the power offer. You don't join my side out of power lust. You join out of desperation. A day will come when you need me. Perhaps you need some arcane knowledge. Perhaps money. A cure for some unknown disease. Just keep this phone. My number is under Mr. Black. Generic, I know. And when you need me, you can call me. I'll give you anything you want. Fair bargain, no? The phone beeps as he hangs up on you. What was that? The target's vampiric bastard. Shawn, are you going to take the phone or are you going to leave it there?
I'm leaving the phone. I'm not associating myself with any vampire bastards.
It's time to prepare for the night's final hunt. You head to an old house dining room where a large wooden table sits. It's empty, and the rest of the hunters out and about in the world. The kitchen is brimming with light and heat and activity. Tonight's meal, as with most lodge meals, is very garlic heavy.
Yeah. You know why? Because when you're in a room with a vampire and you fart, chemical warfare.
Traditionally, hunters have lots of garlic. In the old days, when hunters first rose up, garlic was an invaluable tool. Many monsters of the night could easily track a human via smell, so the first hunters used garlic to disguise their scent and confuse their prey. It wasn't long before the smell of garlic became associated with hunters, and they had to change tactic.
They used Parmesan.
With 20 minutes left in the day, you move to your desk. It's laid out with papers, filters, and a large bag to help you get through the darkest nights with the worst nightmares. You quickly flick through a few vinyl albums you have and go back to the album that you always treasure. You know what album it is, Shawn? They actually have it in here. Do you know what album it is?
Oh, what is it?
It's Oasis.
Oh.
Oh, don't be that way. Don't be like that.
Not an Oasis fan.
Sally your way.
You talk about whiny with Game of Thrones. Wasn't that that's the band that
Champagne supernova in the sky.
That's the one with the band with the two brothers that hate each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, talk about whiny. You're like, Game of Thrones, this girl's like, where?
Your friend Russell looks at you. Are you ready for this last hunt? You always are. Thanks to werewolves' naturally keen sense of smell, it's best to coat yourself in a disguise. So you sprinkle deer urine on your coat, despite how disgusting it is to you. Let's go. I'm driving up front with Frenchie and the German. You can come up front with us or sit with Wyatt and the bait. You look at Wyatt, who looks pale and nervous, a hunting rifle in his hands. His father is either indifferent to his son's fears or ignorant of them. Part of you wants to sit in the front where it's warm, but another part of you feels like you should comfort Wyatt. Are you going to sit in the front or the back, Shawn?
I'm going to comfort Wyatt. I understand what it means to be scared. Yeah, I mean, he's scared. Why would you leave him back there by himself?
I'm a little scared, the boy admits. I've hunted deer, wolves, and I've hunted deer and wolves even, but this is a whole different level. You should be scared. Fear keeps us alive. Fear is what holds us together.
Yeah.
Wyatt nods as if you've said something profound, but you're half sure he's barely listening as he tries not to piss himself.
Oh, great. That's going to counteract the deer urine.
The truck pulls off, barreling down the road. You lean back, the truck heading deep into the woods. Your shotgun feels heavy on your shoulder, shaking your head to free it of any sleepiness. It's a silent journey. It's a long, boring drive. You watch the trees pass by, shrouded by shadow. It's a waiting game until the drop zone, as always. You focus on nothing at all and avoid getting psyched out. Suddenly, you feel yourself slam against the side of the truck as the car swerves. That's the sound of tires bursting as you're catapulted up, hands grabbing for your shotgun.
Uh-oh.
The car slams off the road, hitting the embankment, and you find yourself momentarily free-falling, flying out the back of the truck. Should have worn a seatbelt, Shawn.
Yep, that's what I always say.
You force yourself to one knee, eyes quickly adjusting. Your shotgun is lying close by you, and you feel a breath of relief. You stand cautiously checking to make sure nothing's broken before grabbing your shotgun, making sure it's still loaded, and survey the situation. The trees to the side of the road are broken and crushed, indicating where the truck must have gone off the road and down into the ravine below. Your eyes are slow to notice due to its black paint, but you see a pair of spike strips lying across the road.
Uh-oh, they were ready for us.
This doesn't make sense. Werewolves never take human servants, and they're not tool users when transformed. They wouldn't put spike strips down unless they knew you were coming and prepared beforehand. Struggling to the edge of the road, you stare down the deep ravine where the truck lies. It's heavily crushed and damaged beyond repair, and you can hear screams indicating that there's survivors. Are you going to head down, rescue your teammates, or fall back and get out of the woods?
I got to rescue my teammates. That's usually bad news bears, but I got to do it.
Stay back, a young terrified voice screams from behind the wreckage. Swearing, you burst forward, your gun held tightly in your hands, rushing around the roasting bonfire. You find Wyatt collapsed on his back, desperately trying to shuffle backwards. Standing in front of him is a bestial creature you faced many times before.
Oh my goodness.
It's
my
werewolf.
Oh, okay. It's not my arch rival. It's just a werewolf.
The creature stands with black and gray fur matted with gore of a previous kill. He growls, revealing a row of vicious teeth that could easily tear through a man. Your instincts kick in and you drop to your knee, raising your gun and open fire. The creature howls as you fire another shot, blowing the creature's head off as its body crumples. You watch as the lupine body begins to morph, shedding hair and twisting as it turns into a naked, bloody human corpse, its head completely missing. They got my dad. They tore him up and they took Hans off into the woods. We have to go save them. You hear a loud howl, looking over and see a trio of werewolves appearing out of the woods, and in front a large creature with frost-white hair and pink eyes. The creature begins prowling towards you, its jaws open as it licks its lips. Clearly, this one's a leader of some sort, and it wants to take you down by itself as some fucked up pursuit of honor to show its pack mates its prowess. Are you going to hold the beast off or break into the woods with Wyatt?
If there's 3 of them and only 2 of us, we got to break into the woods. We got to fall back now.
You sprint, running as fast as you can. Your lungs burning, but it's not enough. Seconds later, a force like a truck smashes into your back, sending you crumpling to the floor with your legs shattering from the impact. You scream as the albino lands atop your legs, sending pain racing through your body as you spasm. The creature looks down at you, growling. His head snaps down, tearing out your throat.
Oh, Wyatt!
The end. That's a good place to end it, you know?
Yeah.
We end it with you dying.
Well, we did the other one 3 times. I survived in the end and got to, go on a bunch of shows. And this one, I try to help a kid, and just as always, get you in trouble.
Yep.
I do like how these, they play on that. It's realistically, you should just, not, go for it. You should just protect yourself, but human nature kicks in, and we got to help out.
Yep.
But this was fun. I always enjoy these because they're, it's a great way for you to put me in scenarios where I have a
These ones were a bit gorier than I thought they would be. I thought they'd be more suspenseful and spooky, but they were kind of gory.
Yeah, they were. I liked them though. But yeah, as we're kind of finishing up this bro venture, what do you have for some Richard's closing thoughts?
Don't always trust your first instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes running away is the better part of valor.
Yeah. Well, and I would say, if you're having issues with fertility, probably sacrificing isn't the way to go. Maybe you should look into adopting. Doubt, yeah.
Eat a uterus.
No, I say no. I say maybe you look at adopting.
Oh, okay. That too. We'll call that option C.
But, all right, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website, we're at languagebros.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languagebro, and email us at bros@languagebros.com. And as always, we like to thank our patrons, Wendy and Aaron, who on the videos we upload privately, or not privately, it's just for our patrons only. They get to see all the background action that goes on while we're recording.
Oh, man, now I gotta, now I should probably not look like such a mess.
Well, it's a lot of times, you're picking your nose, or you're sitting there eating a burger, or I got to make sure all my sex toys are picked up. There's lots of stuff we got to figure out.
Oh, place is lousy with sex toys.
I know. They're clean, though. It's you always clean them off, and that's just the drying rack is right there behind you.
Well, I'm not an animal.
All right. Was there anything else for our closer out?
No, we're good, son.
Son.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time you've ever said that. It kind of threw me off.
Let's land this plane, son.
All right. Well, that's all the Bromance have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't be a why.
Be a why not.
I don't know. I feel like those just set me up to fail. That's what those stories do.
Well, I mean, you did fail. 3 times.
Yeah, 3 out of 4. I was 1 for 4. That's a 250 batting average. That gets me in the majors.
Oh, if only real life had a quick save option.